Representatives Marion Harris and Representatives Nancy Garland will be introducing an autism parity bill. 1 in 150 people born today is diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, and yet coverage remains left out of too many health insurance plans, a reality that means Ohio families must choose between going into debt or forsaking crucial services. This bill will eliminate that burden by prohibiting insurance companies from excluding coverage for autism. We must also address the unscrupulous credit card marketing practices which have serious implications on the financial futures of our young adults. A recent report published by the Ohio Credit Union League says more students drop out of college as a result of bad credit than academic failure. In an effort to eliminate barriers between students and degrees, Representatives Matt Lundy and Mark Schneider will introduce legislation that will ban credit card companies from holding marketing activities at Ohio public colleges and universities.
Strengthening laws to protect children from violence and sexual abuse is also needed. Representative Edna Brown will be introducing legislation that will close a gap in Ohio law to help curb teen dating violence. Representative Harris and I will also propose legislation to bar Tier 3 sex offenders where the victim was a child on school property. And Representative Tracy Maxwell Hurd and Representative Harris will pass a law that rightly gives law enforcement the power to remove sex offenders from prohibited areas. Lastly, we will strengthen rules for transition accounts. Transparency and accountability are central tenets inherent to the success of government. It only makes sense that transition accounts used by elected officials in funding future transitions be open and honest. We will reach across the aisle to work together on legislation that prohibits personal use of transition accounts and caps contributions for all office holders elect. We must demand limits on such accounts to promote fair and responsible spending practices, while also being transparent and accountable to the citizens of Ohio. Representative Mark Oakey and Representative Dan Dodd will be introducing this legislation. Thank you for joining us today. We would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
There are a number of differences with what the governor vetoed. In particular, the tax credit has a lower cap than the bill that the governor vetoed.
On the transition account, what will the cap be on contributions?
I'm sorry?
What will the cap be on contributions to the transition accounts?
Mark, you want to run that?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The proposed caps would be $10,000 on any person or entity in regards to a governor-elect, $2,500 for any other candidate-elect.
You say these are all revenue neutral. Is that?
No. I believe, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I believe Representative Garrison said that there are a number of the proposals
Okay.
revenue neutral, not all of them.
Have you worked out then with the governor's office in terms of spending the ones that do spend money?
We have had discussions about some of these proposals with the governor's office. Others we will have to find the revenues needed. And we intend to do so.
Can you provide an example or two of the ones that do spend money?
Well, tax credits, for example, include this cost of the state.
What about distance learning initiative? I take it there would be teleconferencing equipment at every public high school to make this happen. How prevalent is that now, and what would the cost of something like that be?
The technology build out in Ohio is actually quite good at this point. There are some schools that are going to need an improved broadband connection, and some schools that are going to need the equipment where we're working on the research on exactly what that's going to cost, but our intention is to provide this at no cost to the local school districts or to the students who take the classes.
Do you have a ballpark number for me at all?
Well, teleconferencing equipment at every high school that does not have state-of-the-art teleconferencing equipment is approximately $6 million. We will be looking at E-Tech, the Board of Regents, and the Department of Education in collaboration to provide those resources.
Do you know how many schools have state-of-the-art teleconferencing equipment right now?
Approximately 200, I believe. There's over 800 public high schools, and the number was a little over 600 schools that did not have state-of-the-art teleconferencing equipment. We are looking to use the distance learning as a way to enhance the educational opportunities for students in schools where they are not offering AP courses because the schools have had to cut back. We think that that's something worth investing in.
Any high schools in either your district or your district, Ms. Phillips, that have state-of-the-art teleconferencing equipment right now?
When we looked at this measure, we did not look at our own school districts. We just asked for broad numbers from the Department of Education, and they gave us the numbers. They did outline the school districts that do or do not, but I did not look at that data on a school district by school district basis.
But 6 million would take care of all 600 that don't have state-of-the-art, is that what you're saying?
That is correct.
In bill form.
The bills are being drafted currently, and we hope to have them as soon as the Legislative Service Commission is able to finish them, hopefully a week or two.
How soon would you hope to pass the veterans bonuses, since you've been over that ground before?
That will be the first bill we attempt to move. And we've already had conversations with Senator Harris, Senate President Harris, and he's interested in moving it as quickly as possible.
Will your version be the one that moves? Because I know he was talking about moving their version.
I believe the two versions will be very similar or identical, and I will work with Senate President Harris to figure out which one moves first.
One last question.
You going back to a ballot issue on that, Ben?
We will have to go to a ballot issue because it involves bonds.
Thanks very much.